and then we'll make this kind of quick. So I've already gone ahead and adjusted the power rankings. What you guys see here is what post week 2 matchups playing and everything. I've moved Dylan up to S tier. I hope people don't think it's too weird or crazy, or I don't know. I think I'm just giving it to him. I think he's 2-0 for a reason. His team's pretty not that half bad. Top of the A tier is Josh and Gabe. And at the bottom is Jimmy and Matt. Gabe up here with the 2-0s. You know, he's 1-1, but he's doing fine. And then you got Pat has dropped down to B tier, and still have Devin, Grush, and Mark down here, and me and Christian down in C tier. I forget where we were last week, honestly, but the reason I went ahead and adjusted all this real quickly is because I wanted to go through each person's team and give a comparison to an NFL team currently, and what it'll be like is what your record is in fantasy is what I'm comparing you to an NFL team that is also that same record. So I have a couple notes, and that's going to be what the bulk of tonight will be, is just me comparing these everyone's team to an NFL team. I wanted to switch it up, and I'll just come back to these power rankings as we go through each person. So JT and Andrew are up first, and their comparison is the New Orleans Saints, a team that is completely just dominating their opponent. They, as you can see, they won 47-10 against the Panthers, and then 44-19 against the Cowboys. It's been a shock, but it's also just insane how bad they're beating everybody. And Alvin Kamara is going insane, and JT and Andrew have Alvin Kamara on their team. So I think it fits well. They're 2-0. They seem unstoppable until someone is able to beat them, and we will see what happens. Dylan's team, his comparison is the Texans. They are also 2-0, and they're a team that, you know, in the past, Dylan hasn't had a lot of success in fantasy, at least from my memory. You know, I think he can have mediocre or like average seasons, but so he's kind of like an up and coming threat now, and his team has a lot of weapons for it that can really do well, and so that's why I compared him to the Houston Texans. Next, we have Josh. Josh's team is none other than the Kansas City Chiefs, a 2-0 team that I think Josh's team has like one really star player in CeeDee Lamb, just like the Chiefs kind of have Travis Kelce, the big name guy that like everybody's looking towards. But yet there's all these other guys that are just able to get the job done for his fantasy team. And so just like the Chiefs have been able to get it done in these first 2 games, so has Josh's fantasy team. So let's see how we got this going so far. Stats on teams that won the Super Bowl that scored that. Okay, Dylan likes his. CD isn't my best player. Okay, no, not necessarily point-wise yet, I agree. But it's that first round pick, that name that everybody's like, oh, I gotta go against Josh this week, and CeeDee Lamb is like a threat. It's kind of like Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. But Gabe's team we got is the Dallas Cowboys, a team that is 1-1 right now, and they, let's see, all right, so the Dallas Cowboys seem to be made out as this like really good team, and I think Gabe's fantasy team is also looks like they're going to be really good. And it just so happens that their one loss was against the Saints, who I compared to as JT's team, which is what happened. And so that's why I have Gabe ranked as high as he is above other Tua teams, because his team just poses a huge threat, and it looks very dangerous. And so Gabe's team compares to the Cowboys. Jimmy is compared to the Seahawks, a team 2-0, but if you look at who they've played the Broncos and the Patriots. Okay, probably great defenses, but they were still able to get those wins. And it's kind of like when I look at Jimmy's team, okay, he's 2-0, but I'm pretty sure he beat me and Mark, I think. And so we'll see how Jimmy does in fantasy when he faces other more threatening teams, and just like the Seahawks, we'll see how they do when they play someone a little tougher. Next we have Matt. Matt, I am comparing to my favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Matt with the Buccaneers, I compare it like they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Matt won fantasy a couple of years ago, but now people have kind of like forgot and have been writing them out. And just like Matt, he's off to a 2-0 start, and it's all of a sudden like, wait, Matt has won fantasy before. Like, we got to kind of remember he's capable, or like, sometimes it seems like Matt just like throws in players and like doesn't pay attention, but like we gotta watch out. We gotta watch out for Matt and what he might be able to do. So, my goodness, the injuries have been insane. I've been getting the notifications. Yeah, Debo, Pacheco, Tua, and AJ Brown, they are all getting injured, and it's creating for this like very slow start to fantasy, like scoring points. It's just very odd, is all I can say. Yep, Christian McCaffrey, like all the injuries. It's like I felt like we've dealt with it before, but it just keeps getting worse and worse. All right, down to the B tier. Pat's team is compared to the Miami Dolphins. It seems like Pat drafted in a way of getting the best player in each position. This almost like hyper offensive strategy, and that's kind of what it feels like what the Dolphins have done too. But when it doesn't quite work, it really feels bad in a way. And so comparing Pat's team to the Dolphins, they're both 1-1, and that's what we're trying to do here, is compare to NFL teams that are the same record as your fantasy football team. Next we have Devin. Devin's team is compared to the Cincinnati Bengals. We're in the zone of teams. Pat is Tua Tagovailoa. Devin's team is, I would say, it is thought of to be a good fantasy football team, or at least probably can be, but it's just he's gotten off to a slow start. He has potential. He might be able to do well. We'll just have to wait and see. Just like the Bengals, like tough 2 games, weren't able to get a win on either of them. We'll see if Devin is able to pull off a couple wins like the Bengals. Next we have Josh Grushan, and his team is compared to the Baltimore Ravens. So 0-2, and he's lost to the best teams. He has played JT, I think. Wait. No, Josh played Josh. I'm trying to think who Grushan has lost to. I don't think he's lost to JT yet. But Grushan has been doing okay. Did Grushan lose to JT? Because I think, okay, yeah, it happened this week. That's right, because JT and them changed their name to who they're playing. And so that's kind of the comparison how the Ravens have lost to the Chiefs. And, you know, a loss is a loss. Your record is still 0-2, but you had to play one of the better teams. So hopefully Grushan's team can turn things around by playing a team, hopefully, that they're able to beat. But it's crazy that they're even lost to the Raiders this week too. Mark Marinsky, we're comparing him to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So with the Jaguars and Mark's team, I don't think Mark is the worst in the league, and I could see Mark winning a game here and there. It's funny that you say that Skeet is Trevor Lawrence, because I could just imagine him with that long hair and yeah, hyped up generational prospect. But I mean, like with the Jaguars, they're probably gonna win a game or two, like a couple. And I think with Mark, he'll win a couple games. And it's just whether or not he can win enough to get into the playoffs. We'll go down to my team. I compared myself to the Indianapolis Colts. I have Richardson as my QB. He's been very disappointing, kind of how the Colts have disappointed their fans with their 0-2 start. It seems like they have just decent players in their quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, and Michael Pittman, but they just haven't been able to get it done. And my team, I just thought it could do okay or well, and it has just been nothing but disappointment. So I'm just like the Colts. Christian, his team is compared to the Rams. I think you guys can guess why. And it is because both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are now injured. And I think Cooper Kupp has been placed on the injury reserve. I don't know if that's actually true, but most of Christian's team has just gotten injured, and it is a tough start. We'll see what Christian can do to be able to bounce out of this if he can. Maybe play some teams that give him a chance at winning. It's going to come down to the waiver wire for sure, because he gets the first pick. So hopefully that'll help his team. But this is my rankings after the second week. It's still only 2 weeks. We've only played 2 weeks of football. And Josh, if Christian upsets you this week, I will be shocked. But we heard it here first. We have it documented. 2 weeks of football in the bag. I don't think there's anything to freak out about or anything to celebrate about yet. Long season ahead. A lot of things can happen. It definitely just helps to have that 2-0 jump start. It helps to not get people injured on your team. And so it's just more work for the people at the bottom here to really try to either make trades, waiver wire claims to really get their team going again. And for everybody up top, I mean, I don't think anybody has really played each other yet. I think that's why we have 5 2-0s and 5 0-2s. But maybe once we start getting some matchups between these teams, I know Gabe lost to JT, I believe, but once we get some matchups up in here, people will start taking losses, others will just propel ahead, and once people start playing down here, people who win will start fighting for the playoffs. Josh has confirmed that it's a 6 team playoff. So if the season were to end right now, these I guess this is just my projection, but these 6 would get in the playoffs. That might even be correct. But long season ahead. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see how this next week goes. Hopefully less injuries and more fun, exciting games. Hopefully Buccaneers off going to 3-0. I think we play the Denver Broncos. And yeah. Thank you guys for joining this week's Power Rankings. Hope the switch up was a little more enjoyable. And join us Monday, me and Andrew, for a little more football talk, dudes talking ball, and have some more fun. See you guys then.